Let's start. God bless. God bless. How you doing? How you doing? I'm waiting for Mr. Dennis to come on to join us. Mr. Dennis and I are going to speak about the Second Amendment today, gun talk. But before he gets on, couple of things. I was told at the last minute that Mayor Brandon Johnson will be, hold on, let's see. Hey, Mr. Dennis.
Hey.
Let me just do my little, I just have a couple little announcements to make before we start. Mayor Brandon Johnson will be today at Lakeside Chat at Chicago State University. It says, join us as we welcome the city of Chicago's 57th Mayor Brandon Johnson to Chicago State University with support from CSU's Division of Student Affairs and Office of External Affairs. We will host a Lakeside Chat inviting Chicago students, faculty, staff, and alumni to discuss the vision for Chicago college students. The panel will include Mayor Johnson, a member of CSU's faculty, students, and university leadership. Through this event, you'll gain valuable insights on the work of Mayor Johnson, his office, and around ensuring that education disparities are addressed and reduced through CSU's campus and other institutions of higher education in Chicago. The event is free, but an RSVP is required. Now, they didn't really put this out here for everybody, but it's today at 5 o'clock. Well, it was at 5 o'clock, and it was at Gwendolyn Brooks Library, 4th floor. And I just don't understand what vision he is trying to show the students, because he is destroying Chicago. And ironically, I have Mr. Dennis here, but he's taking ShotSpotter away. Crime is not down 20%. I don't even know where to start. However, we have Mr. Dennis here, who is a Second Amendment advocate, and you have a gun, right?
Yes, I'm a firearm owner.
Okay, so Mr. Dennis, tell me who you are, and I guess basically an introduction. Who is Mr. Dennis?
Well, I am a really a plain, simple guy and stuff, and I was born and raised here in Chicago. I spent 20 years in the military, both active and reserve. So after I came back in 2004, I wasn't into guns because I didn't have the knowledge of the gun. So my thing was, so I have 3 daughters, and they, everybody need to protect their families and themselves from these criminals that's going on here. But before, I want to make a special announcement, if I may.
Yes.
As of today, I don't have no affiliation with the Chicago Red organization as of now, for my own personal reason. And I wish them the very best, but I had to step away from that group. Okay, so back to my story. It came back like into during the pandemic, when the crime was going up under the Lightfoot administration, and she didn't do nothing to protect the people, the citizens of Chicago. And I counted 12 kids that was gunned down by these criminals during the pandemic, during the George Floyd riot. So that started getting me going. I'm like, I need to get a gun. I need to get a gun. So in 2020, between 2020, 2022, 2022, I decided to buy me a firearm. And I started to get to understand it. Then I started to do research on guns and our rights of owning a firearm, especially Black Americans. But I'm more like into all Americans because now we got a crisis going on here, not only in the city of Chicago, but in the United States and with these illegal immigrants that's all over everywhere. So I'm really motivated now more than ever to help anybody, mainly women, to understand gun safety, understand their rights to purchase a firearm, and what to do and what they should not do if they get caught up in a situation. Because a gun is an equalizer against any man. And the reason why I say that, because no matter how old you may be, you can't take down somebody who's my height. I'm 6'2" and I'm over 200 pounds. You can't take me down unless you have a firearm. That would equalize the playing field. So that got me going. And I'm more into helping women to understand firearms, purchase a firearm, get training, and protect not only themselves but their family as well.
Does
So
your
that's what,
3 daughters, do they do they have their FOID cards?
2 of them do. The youngest one she fill out the form. She filling out the application to get her FOID card next. So once the next step is to take them to the range and get them trained so they can understand how to use their firearm and when to use their firearm.
When they say Illinois has some of the strictest gun laws in the country, do you agree with that?
Not at all. For the fact that, because what Pritzker is doing, he is more like controlling law-abiding citizens, not criminals. Because
Okay.
they call it gun violence, which is not gun violence, because I could sit my gun down on my coffee table, it ain't gonna commit no act of violence, correct? Because it's a tool. But they focusing on the guns, but they're not focusing on the crime that's in hand. So people like J.B. Pritzker, and at the time when Joe Biden was president, they talk about, well, we need to ban more semi-automatic, especially like the AR-15, for instance. So they making it hard. If it's not the gun ban sale, they're gonna try and limit the magazine capacity of our firearms, just like what they're doing in California. They limit it to 10 rounds. So if you got more than 2 criminals coming at your home, the chances are you might not miss. You probably will miss taking them criminals out, because
You
you
only
got
got
these
10.
yes, because you got these blue states like California, New Jersey, Maryland, Illinois. They got these strict gun laws like it's going to save lives. And it's not saving lives. The only way you're going to save lives is if you arm and protect yourself from these criminals and some of these psychotic.
What did you think about? You spoke about the state of Maryland. I don't know if you saw the Senator Van Hollen. He went to El Salvador to check on the gang member that is shipped there and will be there for a very long time. What did you think about Senator Van Hollen going there um, to check on him?
I believe that the senators there, it's for it's a PR stunt. That's what it is. It's a PR stunt. The Democrats don't have a chance to regain the Senate, the White House, or the House of Representatives. They, first of all, that I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him for what he is. He's a MS-13 gang member. He's a wife beater, and he's not an American citizen. So I don't understand why these politicians, especially the Democrats like Jasmine Crockett and them, stating that he deserved due process. But isn't that? But should we have some kind of due process since we're American-born citizens? I believe we
Right.
should. If it fall under the 14th Amendment, the due process is for natural-born citizens. That's what I believe. But
Right.
see, the one thing about the Democrats, they not thinking about the victims. They thinking about crime. They want crime to happen. Not on, the red state's not going to allow it to happen. Let's get that understanding, especially in the state of Texas. That's
Right.
a constitution because Texas and Indiana are constitutional states. So you don't need no permit. And Texas is an open carry state. So if you want to F around and find out in Texas, go right ahead, trying to commit your crime. But I guarantee you, them law-abiding citizens carry a gun on them, and they will use it.
Right.
So my thing about what the senator did is just a PR stunt. That's all. But they not thinking about the safeties of the seniors,
No.
the men, the women, children, or babies. They're not thinking about it. So
At all.
no, not at all.
When
And
I
my thing, I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
Well, so my thing with that is they blank. See, here's the thing: when Greg Abbott sent these illegals to Illinois, now they all are bent over. They crying, they complaining. So now it's Greg Abbott's fault. He only could control the state. Joe Biden controlled the border. They
Right.
don't look. They turn everything with a blind eye until they see that it's going to knock on their front door. So my thing is if I could spread the message, not only in the city of Chicago, but the state of Illinois and the United States, that hey, you all have the right to execute them, if I may use that term. If it's too harsh, I don't care. But you have to execute these illegals, execute these criminals, and maybe that will bring the crime rate down. Chicago, once again, we're the murder capital of this country.
Crime is
13
down
years in
20%.
huh?
Crime is down 20%.
What about the rest of the 80%? If it's down 20, that means 80% is still there. So I want to address something about what the state of Illinois is doing, especially Pritzker, because Illinois is a blue state. The supermajority are Democrats. So what they do, they legislate these unnecessary bills, especially against law-abiding citizens and gun carriers. First, back 3 years ago, Pritzker signed the Safety Act. I mean, the PICA Act. That's the Protected Illinois Community Act. What that is it stopped the purchase and sale of all semi-automatic weapons. They call it military style weapon. So I'm gonna break it down how this military style weapon do. I was an ex-military. You got, like, for instance, an M16, or now it's an M4, similar to the AR-15. But what the difference is, a AR-15 have two features. It got safety and semi. M4 have three: safety, semi, and fully burst, meaning full automatic, like a machine gun. That's the difference. And then you got some of them who don't have a clue what AR-15 means. They call it, they say it's an assault rifle. That's what AR-15 means. No, it's armor light. It's an armor light rifle. That's
It's an
what
armor light.
Yep, that's what
Okay.
AR-15 is. So that's what it does. And see, they say that the reason why they banned it because what happened in Highland Park. So back in 2022,
That was the 4th of July parade.
Yes, it was during the 4th of July parade, and this kid over here used an AR-15 to slaughter some of the victims out there in Highland Park. But here's a news flash: 5 people got shot and killed in Washington Park. So Pritzker did not address that. Pritzker did not even go to Washington Park here in Chicago to address the issue. But with the help of Mom Demand Action, Pritzker signed the Picker Act, and we're still fighting. And this one thing what Democrats do, especially when they do these gun control, what they doing, they have the organization like Gun Owners of America, the Illinois State Rifle Association, the Second Amendment Foundation, the associate the gun owner associate, not gun owner, I'm sorry, the gun rights of America. They spending countless of money to the Supreme Court, and what the Supreme Court do, they punt the law back to the district court. The worst one is the Ninth Circuit out there on the West Coast and the Seventh Circuit here in Illinois. They don't want us to be protected. They want us to become victims of criminals. And then you got people like what's his name? Father Flager. He over here talking about we need to control the gun violence. Now he's over there at St. Sabina Church out there in Gresham district. He don't address the criminals. He addressed only the guns. J.B. Pritzker addressed about the gun. Brandon Johnson, he's another one. Now, a week ago, I caught something on social media when he was talking about, when he said last year, he brought in, he got rid of 12,000 guns out in the street in Chicago. Now, if you got rid of 12,000 guns, if you confiscate them, where's the criminals at?
Right.
You got 12,000 guns. That means you should arrest 12,000 criminals.
He does that a lot, and I always say it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just for show to see like they're doing something. Meanwhile, here comes a freight train full of the new guns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. What do you think? So I think it was 3 weeks now. You were at the town hall meeting for the Hyde Park shelter, and you said some interesting words which needed to be said. You know, it was just an uncomfortable truth at that time because they weren't understanding. But you were basically saying that they need to get armed. They need to start protecting themselves because basically these people, the elected officials there, do not care. And you were absolutely right. And what is your take on these shelters that are in these areas? One that's on Cicero, 2 miles from Midway, and then we have the Hyde Park shelter that is right over the lake and across from Newport condominiums, and a few other known apartment buildings, condominium buildings in the Hyde Park area.
Well, my thing with that is, when I was over there, when I spoke at that town hall meeting, I knew exactly what I said, and I said it. And I'm not going to apologize for my words, first of all. But you got to look at one thing, Zoe. Those same women who was making all that noise was the same group of women who was at this Chicago City Hall meeting. And what Brandon Johnson did, they blew them off. The reason why I said that, because you got to look at where Hyde Park is. You got some whites, you got seniors, you got retired. They are going to be more victimized right offhand because of these illegals that's over there at that hotel room. So I say, Yancey ain't going to do nothing about it because he voted for half of this. He voted for half of this and stuff. And we had to disrupt all these Democrats and let them know we're up to your stuff and we're going to do what we can, even if we had to do a little jail time to disrupt whatever your operation may turn out to be. So when I say we need to arm ourselves, because you got to look at, it ain't that many police in the city of Chicago. Because Brandon Johnson has defunded most of the police resource. And then you got Superintendent Snell. He is like his lapdog. Whatever Brandon Johnson say, he gonna do it. And then you got, I cannot fault the officers because they the one who get up. They had to put that bulletproof vest on. They had to carry that gun. They had to patrol the streets. Some partner, some solo. So
Right.
it's not enough police officer to respond to a crime. Even when ShotSpotter was up, and when Brandon Johnson took ShotSpotter out or let the contract run out because he said it promotes racism, him and Byron, I call him Psycho Lopez, but it's Byron Cinco Lopez. But I'm gonna call him Byron Psycho Lopez because he's a psychotic socialist. He's talking about how racist ShotSpotter was. Now, ShotSpotter is not the most effective tool, but it's a tool that will help the police to respond to a shooting incident a little bit faster than people dialing 911.
Yeah, we're at I think 42 Brandon bodies since he's taken ShotSpotter out in particular parts of the city. A body has been found in each of these parts of the city, and he doesn't even address it.
No, he's not going to address it. And now he found a way to stop us from addressing it.
Right.
He bringing these advocates, these paid advocates to speak about who give a damn about a dog and stuff. I mean, I'm a dog lover, but it ain't it ain't gonna stop a criminal. It ain't gonna stop from somebody from busting through my door and trying to take me out. So he know what Brandon Johnson know what he's doing with the help of Carlos Rosa, Byron Cinco Lopez, and Andre Vasquez. They putting stuff in his ear and stuff. Don't let them speak on nothing else because we need this. We need this because we want to take over and make this a socialist city. And then it's like it's more like a plague. When you make this a socialist city, you're gonna make this a socialist state, and then it's gonna spread, and then it's gonna be another Venezuela or the CCP or Russia for that matter. So when they said all those things, and then they talk about how much of guns are committing the violence, it's not the guns, it's the criminal. Guess what? Most of now take a guess where all these the crimes are located in the black community. It's in the black community. So what they're saying is that okay, just like they saying, well, we need to find a way to control the shooting incident. If you control the criminals, or else they'll be armed. You got to fill out because in order for you to get a gun, you got to fill out the 4473 form. That's a background check. That's what the 4473 form is. They gonna find out if you are a felon or not, or if you're, I would like to say, mentally inclined. They're gonna find those things out through the 4473. They're not gonna let you get a gun like that, and that's what that's what these gun control advocates are saying. They saying guns kill people. No, people kill people. Right. Guns got the same reputation as pit bull. That's all it is to it. If you use the gun correctly and you know the train, you do the training and stuff like that, it's gonna save lives. And guns do save lives. Guns save lives. They can't say it don't. Because
what is how do you go? So say I would like to get my as a gun license. How would I go about that? What's the steps?
Okay, through the state of Illinois, you have to fill out. You got to go on a website for the Illinois State Police for an application. Then you got to fill out your name, date of birth, all that stuff. Then you got to fill out a lot of questions. They're gonna ask you if you did drugs, have you been committed to a mental institute, those things like that. Once you do that, then once you fill that information out, then it's a $10 fee. Then once that $10 fee, you guys send them a copy of your state or driver license ID. Then it's $10. You gotta wait 30 days. Then you'll get a letter from the Illinois State Police, which is going to be your FOI card. And then after you get your FOI card, you go to the range. You can go ahead. You can purchase a gun with a FOI card. Then you can find somebody who could train you for your CCL license, depending on the individual how much they charge. Then you got to pay $150 fee to the state of Illinois to get your concealed carry license.
Okay.
And so that's how you do it. You can get the gun with your FOI card, but you cannot carry around in the street because of that FOI. You got to get a concealed carry.
Conceal and carry.
Yes.
Okay. And right now, the illegals don't have to do any of this.
Well, because of the Obama, this was through an Obama appointed judge in the Seventh Circuit. And what she's saying is that the illegals have the same constitutional right as as law-abiding citizen. Maybe she didn't read that a well-regulated militia to the security of the free state, the people shall keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It didn't say nothing about the Venezuela, Tren del Agua, MS-13, the Mexicans, the Africans, or anybody else in this godforsaken place that have the right to bear arms. But let's say that they would do that. Guess what? They got to fill out the FOI card.
Mm-hmm.
If they were trying to get a gun, they got to fill out the 4473 form. They got to fill that out. And that 4473 form go to the FBI. So you're really telling on yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how you purchase your firearm. You can get a FOI card, and then if you want to carry a conceal, you got to take a class for I think it's 8 hours, and then you got to get tested on the range.
Okay. What? So I think that the reason why our mayor and the rest of his socialist posse has not tried to find something that's similar to ShotSpotter and stuff is because I think they want us to go to some type of war. Like, as far as, like, they want what's going on. Like, it's a lot of, even though crime is down 20%, but it's a lot of violence happening between the different gangs, the new gangs. I think, like, he wants this to go on. He wants this to happen. Because I think that, you know, one of his things I was told that he's a nationalist. So maybe this is his way of thinking that he's going to control Chicago by creating all this havoc that's going on. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, if that's the case, then we have to do whatever it takes to arm ourselves and protect ourselves. So if he wants his precious pet illegals to come with machete, because you know there's an old saying in the country, they'll never bring a knife to a gunfight. And
Right.
if these Venezuela gang members or anybody else, these illegals, will do that, then I'm gonna have to see. I have the right to defend my life, your life, or anybody else's life. That's constitutional. I have that right to protect yourself. But here's the thing: to your answer to the question you asked, is that if it happened, it won't affect Brandon Johnson because he got 200 police details.
That's true.
Nearing at his house, his state of residence.
Yeah, matter of fact, it was even when we don't come out. You know, yesterday it was only 4 of us. You know, I mean, it wasn't many people that came out to the guy's fundraiser, but the fact that we don't really be, you know, pressed for a whole bunch of people coming out, but it was more. I feel like it was more police officers than protesters and people that were at the senator's fundraiser.
Yeah.
But you're talking about, I mean, teen takeovers. You're talking about the Venezuelans and the illegals fighting. You've got the loitering and the soliciting over at the Home Depot. You know, you're dealing with a whole bunch of reckless, ridiculous things, but you have about 15 to 20 officers on bicycles protecting the senator, I guess.
Yeah. That's it. The police need to be where it need to be at. But then, at the most importantly, we need more police to be hired here in Chicago,
Yes,
especially.
we
We
do.
need more police officers here. Now, should some of the police? I can't speak on police reform. I could call it better police, more like better police training in a
Right.
hostile situation like these teen takeovers and stuff. And I'm glad you brought that up because now it's not the adults that's doing the shooting; it's these juveniles that's doing the shooting. Look what
Right.
happened during that teen takeover in Streeterville. A 14-year-old has been arrested and charged for shooting a 15-year-old. Now, where does 14-year-old get a gun at? Out somewhere in the street.
Right.
You can't say they get it from Indiana because Indiana had to go by the law of gun purchasing through the state of Illinois. It's
Right.
the fact that Indiana is a constitutional state.
So that's what a lot of people say. They say that a lot of the guns are coming from Indiana and are being brought back here, but you're saying no.
No, no. Like when that young man 2 Saturdays ago, he said that they hijacked a freight train, pull all
Uh
these
huh.
weapons,
Uh huh. Yeah.
and have them on the south side and say, "Go ahead and get these guns."
Uh huh.
So you can't. They can't put it on Indiana.
Yeah,
They
the
can.
freight trains is where they getting all their guns. They I don't know if they still drop them off in the trash bins too, the big bins.
Yeah.
Well, they used to do it in the where the housing projects is.
Mm-hmm.
That they would drop them in there, but now I know for sure. Every time I see, they always say, "Oh, the freight train is getting robbed." I'm like, "Oh yeah, those are the new guns for the season."
Yes.
So, but that is good to know that it's not Indiana, because a
No.
lot of people love to say that, oh no, they're going to Indiana and picking up the guns and then they're bringing them back here. So I always be like, well, Indiana's a red state.
Yeah.
However, I do know that well, you did say Indiana and Texas is constitutional.
Their constitution, you don't require no permit. However, you got to have a state ID.
You have to
So
have a state
Indiana,
ID.
right. So Indiana don't honor Illinois state ID to purchase a firearm. It's only for Indiana residents. The only way that I could purchase a gun from Indiana is I have to present a FOID card. And the reason why some people go and buy ammunition and guns because Illinois got a real high tax bracket on firearms.
Oh, good. Tax on everything.
Yes, they tax on
They
firearms.
tax everything.
Yes, especially here in Cook County.
Right.
So that's why I buy my ammo in Indiana because the taxes are way much lower there than it is here in Indiana. I mean in Illinois.
Illinois. Okay.
Yes.
So, what do you are you familiar with ShotSpotter? Like, do you know if there's any other like detection that you've heard of or familiar with? I haven't done my research. There's only one detection that I saw that people have replaced. I was going to do a live on that later on. I'm just waiting to see I'm waiting for the year to come up that if they still have not figured out how to replace shot spotters, which they don't want to replace.
They don't want to. Here's the thing about this. Just like Brandon Johnson, before Brandon Johnson, Lori Lightfoot before that. Now, I think Rahm Emanuel, I'm gonna give him some credit. It wasn't that much of a crime under his administration, but Lori Lightfoot, and especially Lori Lightfoot, allowed this chaos to happen because of the sanctuary laws, and she ain't doing too much to stop the crime that happened here,
No,
especially
she did. She
during
was
the
taking care of the Jews.
yeah. So and then he had a guard just only protecting certain sections of Chicago, Bridgeport, all the way down to Streeterville and the Gold Coast. But
Okay.
problem in Austin, we had problem in Auburn Gresham, we had problem in South Shore. We had so much, I want looting that it was not a police there to stop it. And even though if the police was there to stop it, uh, they have to let them out because of the Safety Act that JD Prisker had put into the law.
Yeah, I don't think people understand, um, like how terrible JB Pritzker is for Illinois as far as the governor. I don't think people realize that because they only show the JB Pritzker talking about affordable health care for all, and he's taking care of the trans and everything else, but never about what's going on really in Illinois and in these cities that are the most vulnerable.
Yeah,
I mean that city communities that are the most vulnerable, and it continues to happen. Honestly, with every administration, because I really feel like they have counted our youth out.
yes. With Prisker, he he wanted to be president more than if he trying to seek third term as governor. I think he wanted to be president so badly he will try to outdo Newsom, uh, Kathy Holcomb, Gretchen Whitmer. He trying to outdo them. Like, oh, I'm gonna put more gun laws here in my state, and mine's gonna be more stricter than yours. And you see what? See,
Right.
they it's like you don't care about our lives. You don't care about the next generation. You care about these two things: these illegals and crime. Now I'm gonna show you how this works. Crime, uh, crime is a business for the Democrat. It's a business for the Democrat because
Okay.
every time, if they get caught, they get locked up. Guess what? They get paid 68 cents an hour during time in prison. That money go to the state. That money that's in the state go to the legislature and the governor. So they want it. In order for you to stop it, you own a firearm. And then my thing is a a dead offender is better than a repeat offender. So my thing is get a firearm. $500, do some training, and then hey, do it. Hey, protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I know back in February, it was two men who trying to rob a sanitation worker, a garbage man. It was at 2 o'clock in the morning. What did he do? They didn't know he was concealed. He used his gun and shot one in the head. He was 40, one was 43, the other one was 20. The 20-year-old, he's suffering for the rest of his life for that gunshot wound. The 43-year-old, he's dead. It happened back around the same month in February in the South Shore neighborhood. I
Mm.
think on 69th Oglesby, an intruder went into a young lady bedroom while she was getting herself ready. The mother shot the intruder. And she has the right to do it because it's a castle. Because Illinois is not only a red flag state, but it's a castle doctrine state too.
It's a
Meaning
cancel what?
it's a castle doctrine.
A cancel doctrine? Okay.
Castle doctrine. And what it means is that it's like, you heard the old saying, a man's house is their castle?
Yes.
Well, castle, you have the right to protect it.
Okay.
That's why.
So is that like the stand your ground?
No, you stand your ground is anywhere. You don't have
Okay.
you don't have to stand your ground. That's in Florida. And what it is that if somebody come and attack you or anywhere, it could be in front of a parking lot, grocery store, wherever, you have the right to protect yourself under that stand your ground.
Okay. Is that what, I don't know if you're following the case that's happening in Texas? Is that what they're using as the Carmelo Anthony situation?
Well, what happened was Carmelo Anthony, he used a knife.
Okay.
He was the aggressor. Now, if that young man had a gun and stuff, he had a right to shoot because Texas is a constitutional state. You don't have to be it. It don't have to be castle doctrine. It don't have to be stand your ground.
Okay.
Because Carmelo Anthony used a knife on that young man on school ground. Now, if the Texas, if some law enforcement officer in Texas was there at the time and he draw that knife on that kid, he had every right to shoot him because because it was a threat.
Okay, I just wanted to know that. That's the first time I've asked my research. I was looking, see both sides, and I a lot of people don't like Charleston White, but I agreed with him saying that it happened at school, and there's no violence is not prohibited in school. No weapons are supposed to be on school ground, so, and the parents, what I hate to see now is that more parents are not involved. Like, I've never had an issue with a child at school or however, my mother was very active in my life. Like, I remember one year for the first semester, I was going to the library like every day. Like, I wasn't even going to class. And my mother happened to, I don't know, stop by or something like that, but found out I was going to the library all the time. But my mother started getting active, and I just feel like right now these parents are not as active in their child's life. Like, they're not asking them questions like, what's going on? Do you have beef with somebody at school? Let's try to talk it out. Let's go to the principal. Let's go to the dean. Let's go to the guidance counselor. I don't even know if they even have guidance counselors anymore, but I just feel like we need to. Accountability is a real big issue in our community, and we're so used to dealing with everything being a racial issue, when I'll say right now 80% of the problem is us.
Yeah,
it's not the racial part as what people are trying to push it as. I know racism when I see racism, but I also see two political parties. One, which is a Democratic Party, show no accountability for what they try to do as far as bringing all these illegals over to replace Black Americans, because that's what it really was for Black Americans. However, instead of talking about that situation, they have ran over to, this is going to be the next Sean Bell, the next Trayvon Martin, the next, like for this, because we really don't want to talk about all of the sex trafficking and drug trafficking and the human trafficking that we've just did for the last 4 years, and how we're displacing Americans, especially seniors. That's why it's so many what are they called? Nursing homes all over the place. Like I call nursing homes like little senior jails.
Senior group homes.
Yeah, senior group homes. So I feel like people have went to that extreme, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to boycott Walmart and Target, and it's like, let's get back to how incompetent these local state and federal elected officials are, and how they have put us in this position for the last 40 years, and nobody doesn't want to discuss that.
No, they don't want to address the issue because it won't fit their narrative. Like I say earlier, the Democrats, they need this and stuff. They need this more than anything else, because seriously, we're what, another year from the election cycle, and now they on panic mode because Trump is in office. The House and Senate is controlled by Republicans. 95 the border crossing went down all the way down to 98%, and in within a 2-month period. So that's amazing. Now, only way. Now, here's the thing: how we can handle these illegals. See, these illegals hang out mainly at Home Depot, Menards, Lowe's. They hang out over there on 95th and Stony. Want to wash your windshield? You don't know what's in that water. God, you don't know what's in there, and they're gonna put it on your windshield and stuff. You got women selling candies. And now they're out there walking around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning prostituting. So like they at home. Do that at your home state. Don't do it here. We got kids and we got elderlies that need to be.
And my thing, if anyone buys that candy and something happens to them, they're like, who are you going to sue? Who's liable?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, just stuff like that. But someone said that they heard that there wasn't school grounds. It was an outside track facility. There's video that hasn't come out yet. So that's I guess that's a new thing. However, like I said, I haven't really been paying close attention to it because I know the distraction. And the distraction, that is a distraction from the economic fights and the fight of the United States of America being under attack between Trendiagua, MS-13, and whoever else is over here violating every right, but they're allowed to do it because they're not U.S. citizens. And they get a pass, which is crazy. So I think I never was a person that was like interested in, purchasing a gun, or my mom or anyone. But what we're looking at now is like, it's like maybe we do need to go to the range, because they're literally not letting our law enforcement do their job. Then you have new law enforcement that are starting to apply. However, I'm starting to see that they're only Hispanics, and then I see a few blacks that are coming out. I see a few whites, but when I look at this academy, there's a whole bunch of Hispanics, and they're all over the place. What I'm saying? A majority of them are going into our neighborhoods. So far, it's been 2 black kids who have been charged with shooting a Hispanic police officer. And I see that cycle, you know, and I also see a lot of OGs who are retired police officers that would love to come in and help, and even retired people who are in the military,
Yeah.
that would like to help, you know, and mentor some of the new law enforcement or the people who aspire to be law enforcement, but they're not even letting that happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they don't want, it's honestly like they're really trying to turn Chicago into a socialist a city. Like, prison. Like, if we continue to allow this to happen, we are doomed, because the Hispanics right now, even with this election that's coming up, 26, 27, 28, got the Cook County Board President, got the governor, you got the senator, you've got the mayor,
And the city council.
the city council, you got to get these disgraced 50 out. But it's going to be a battle of, honestly, the black and brown. Everything that they've been trying to push about saying that black and brown are together, we are. But when it comes to government, when it comes to business, every man for themselves, and
Right.
that's how this election has to be. And this is one of the most important elections, especially for my organization, Chicago Fifth Red. Any other Republicans that are in the city, Illinois GOP, they just have a new commissioner, a new person that stepped up, Adam Delmar, I think his name is. Sean Morrison, he stepped down. He said he wanted to let somebody younger come in, and thank you for that. But yeah, I feel like we have, in order to save this city, it has to be anti-democrat, anti-progressive, anti-socialist,
Anti-DEI. Anti-DEI.
Yeah, anti-DEI, and everyone has to be on code. However, it's going to be a lot of going back and forth with this black and brown. I already see it. I already see little things that's going to start to come out. So we just got to be on our P's and Q's. And I think when it comes to having the right to bear arms right now, it's not a game. Like, if you guys do not have your conceal and carry, if you guys do not have your FOI card, you must get it, especially until these executive orders are rescinded. And hopefully they'll be soon, because hopefully Donald Trump will be having Cash Patel and Don and Pam Bondi start indicting these criminals who are running the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago and many of these counties.
Mm-hmm. And another thing is, we have to fault ourselves because we continue on voting for this type of mess.
Right.
Democrats. Same, different people under the same party with same results.
Yes.
Bad to worse to dangerous to destructive to non-exist. And we need to stop voting for this type of madness and stuff. I mean, if you're not going to give, how are you going to blame the Republicans if you never gave them a chance in the city of Chicago? The last Republican we had was over 90 years ago.
1931.
1931. Yep, it was 1931.
And they said the reason why it was switched over because of the economic crisis back then with the Republicans. So now that we are in 2025, it's an economic crisis that has been happening, honestly, since Daley's been in office.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's just finally came to the head. You can't keep, was it rob Peter to pay Paul? That's how the city of Chicago has been running for so long. And basically guilting, it's not even guilting, but basically guilting the city of, the citizens of Cook County and the city of Chicago with going up on certain taxes or certain things because the Republicans are trying to take over, and the whole time y'all making the same amount. Matter of fact, y'all still, the Democratic Party done stole so much money in Chicago because they gotta keep the corruption going, that they don't even know how to do right now. Like, this is the best time for them to do right because they're done. However, instead, they are doubling down on lies. They're doubling down on oaths. Today Dick Durbin said he wasn't running anymore, and another lady by the name of Jan, I can never pronounce her last name, said she's not running anymore. But a lot of other people need to not run. Like Willie Wilson, we don't run no more. You understand? A person who consistently runs for mayor and never wins, like you're never gonna win. When it comes to, it's not just Willie Wilson. It's a few others that run every time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be just like, y'all going to continue to keep the corruption going. We have to change everything, and it changes with the party. Like, there's a couple of people that I've spoken to, and they'll say stuff like, well, the Democratic Party, I just can't do Republican. And I'm like, but you can do Democrat again. Like, you can continue to do Democrat again. Like, they continue that. First of all, you give your vote. The Democratic Party would not be the Democratic Party if it wasn't for Black America. Mm-hmm. So you continue to give your vote to these people for the bare minimum. And then when you mention that and say that, they'll say things like, well, we really don't need either party. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear we don't need either party. Because if that was the case, back when, as soon as they killed King and Malcolm, we should have had an independent party. You understand? Like, if that doesn't even make any sense. So to sit here and say that we can't, Democratic, we really don't need neither party. No, you can't sit here and say that when we never gave the Republican Party a chance. I never gave the Republican Party a chance, and I never gave the Republican Party a chance because I never looked at politics as something that I would ever be interested in. I never looked at politics as something that I would have to rely on, because when I think about politics, I think about the government, and I'm an entrepreneur and I'm gonna make my money regardless. But when it hit to my front door with my mom, he's not here anymore. But when it hit my front door with my mom, I realized that the Democratic Party is the worst party on earth, and you have to be a complete idiot to continue to vote for a party who does not give you anything and will not help you when you need their help. Like, that was the situation with us. If they would have helped my mom when she went to them in 2017, if they would have helped my godfather instead of trying to put so many different type of tax liens on there, made up tax liens, and then they'll pay that and then other stuff, then we wouldn't be here. But the Democratic Party does not want Black Americans to have any type of generational wealth. They have basically counted us out, and they've been counting us out for a very long time because we aren't politically aware, we aren't politically aligned, and they thought they had us. And honestly, you got India that's trying to come after America. You got Israel. You've got China. You got Mexico. You got Venezuela. Now, Chinatown is in what? All cities, all 52 cities. You have Little India in all these cities. You have Little Mexico in all of these cities. You already know Jews are here. And now you're dealing with Little Venezuela over here now. So this is going to be the 5th country to come over here and set up shop in America. Set up shop in America. But when it comes to, and the Democratic Party helps them set up shop and give them everything they need to set up shop. Real estate, business license, money, housing, food. I mean, basically, they living free off of our money. They've been doing it for so long that they go back and call their cousins and stuff and say, y'all too can come over here. And once their visas and stuff expire, like the Indians do, um, they end up go and get another person over here. And then they come do the same thing. They set up shop in our communities, and it's no problem. But when it comes to Black American citizens, when our communities look the way they look, when we come to our representatives and our elected officials that we put in, they don't know what to tell you. I don't know, man. Did you get you a lawyer? Did you do this? Did you that? I shouldn't have to do anything when I helped you get in office.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I feel like when it comes to the Democratic Party, there's no way in the world as a Black American you can continue to vote Democrat. You're insane.
Right. Now, speaking of that, here's a little history note. After the Civil Rights War, we had the right to bear arms and stuff. And former slaves, uh, carried guns, but at the time, the politician had stopped the blacks from using guns because they figure they don't need it, or they'll say, well, they don't have the right and stuff because they still slaves. So there's a little history behind that too, as well. And another thing is that when the Black Panther did start by like everybody had a right to bear arms, not only whites but blacks as well.
Mm-hmm.
But now you got the Republicans who encourage us to bear arms and stuff because after what happened during 2020 during the George Floyd riots, it's like people like you and myself and children, my children and everybody
Mm-hmm.
else, they are open targeted. It's just a matter of when. It's not the matter of if, it's a matter of when they're going to start using violence. So that's something that need to be appointed. And I would like to help anybody who are interested in firearm training, know the laws around here, not only in the state of Illinois, but throughout this country and stuff. I would like to help people to do that because it's not only my life, but it's everybody's life. And the one who want to take it are the ones who don't care about nothing. These stupid gun-free zones they have in the restaurant, in the schools and stuff. Look what happened. This is the result of what happened at Florida State.
Right.
Another mass shooting in a gun-free zone out there.
In the free zone.
Yes, um, over there in Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
gun-free zone, mass shooting. Out
Okay.
there in Florida, that high school in Florida, gun-free zone, mass shooting. Gun-free zone don't work at all. It don't work, and it ain't gonna stop the shooting because criminals love gun-free zone just like they love, uh, gun control. And see,
Mm-hmm.
gun control don't stop crime. It control law-abiding citizens. It control us.
Right. So, where can we find you?
Uh, you can go on my number 312-887-9998, or you could shoot me an email at chef_2a at yahoo.com. Also, you can go to I got an Instagram page, FAFO Gun Club Chicago. Also, my Facebook page is also FAFO Gun Club Chicago.
Okay, are you on X?
Yes, yes, I am. I don't know my ex account is Dennis White,
Then it's
63.
like,
63. Yes.
so what do you have? You have anything coming up next?
Well, I encourage people for those who own guns. I believe, to be honest with you, I believe that people need to buy more than one firearms. One gun is not enough. Buy
Okay.
more than one, and I believe you want the more guns you have, the more protection you'll be.
And when you say you want to teach people, like you want to like hold classes, go to the gun range. What do you want to do?
Well, I'm not certified in the state of Illinois to do a concealed carry. However, I can take you to a gun range, teach you the basic on how to hold a gun, trigger squeeze, front sight shooting, breathing control, proper stance. I could do that.
So maybe do some type of meetup.
Yes, yes. Until I get certified state, then I could do concealed carrying and stuff. But
Okay. Or maybe we'll
yes,
set up a meetup. I never been to a gun range. I like archery though. I used to do archery growing up. That was
yeah.
one of my favorite things.
Yeah. Well, see, the difference between archery, you got to be very accurate to hit the target. You got to be
Right.
very accurate, and you don't. And see, here's the thing: you got to reload with one arrow with a semi-automatic. You just keep the finger on the trigger.
Right. So I don't know. Yeah, we gotta do maybe we'll set up another meetup. But I enjoyed this. Maybe we should do this once a month, Mr. Dennis.
Yeah, and I
To talk
encourage
about
every
the
woman.
Second Amendment and
Yes, and
whatever's
I
going on, a
encourage.
current event that's
Mhm.
going on.
Yes, definitely. I'd be happy to help out and share the information. I will encourage every woman who watch your show. I think your channel is dynamic and stuff. I encourage every woman to protect themselves because the police ain't gonna be there in time to protect you. And dialing 911 is not gonna be fast enough.
No, you're right.
Especially
And you did say something the other day when I was talking to you. How many seconds did you say it takes to call
for the police.
911?
With the police,
Yeah.
okay. If it's a domestic violence, it would take about 20 minutes if you're lucky. A shooting incident, it would take 30 to 45 minutes. So the police are very slow to respond to 911 calls. So the only person that be the best defender of you is you.
Mm-hmm.
You could stop a criminal. You could stop a criminal. I mean, I encourage, I encourage even share ride drivers to be arm themselves because all these carjackings that's been going on and stuff.
Right.
That need to be. You got some of these protesters here. Then you don't know what they're capable of doing. So I believe you should arm yourself by doing it.
No, that's true. Okay. I mean, one more last thing I want to say. You said you were in the military,
Yes, I'm
uh
retired.
retired? Yeah.
Yes,
Do you encourage how do you encourage the youth to sign up now?
yes. And another thing, I want to add something to it before I forget. They passing the Democrats here in Illinois passing all these laws to make it hard for us. They're not going to try to pass a law for gun safety class in school, but they don't have no problem, having a transgender reading uh, Bob Love Bob and stuff. So why not? Why not have a gun safety class?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with trying to get some like some auto body or something like
Hmm.
that. How they stealing cars like this, like
Yeah.
at the age of 8 and 9. Like
Hmm.
I think they're ready.
Yeah. Now, here's something that nobody don't know. The average child among whites, they teach their kids how to use a gun at the age of 8. 8 to 10 years old. Blacks,
Mm-hmm.
the only way they learn how to shoot a gun is through Grand Theft Auto or Call of Duty, a video game. So they think that they can outshoot somebody like me, and I can shoot from 20 yards. That's 52 feet. So, and see, these kids don't understand. Once you pull that trigger, that bullet don't come back. And if you get involved with a gun shooting incident, and somebody like me had to defend myself, guess what? There's no reset button when it comes down to a gunshot wound. There's no reset button.
Mm. Yep, that's true. All right. Well, Mr. Dennis, I appreciate you. We're supposed to do it at 3:30, but I appreciate you taking the time for this. And yeah, I would like to do this once a month. Maybe every third, was this third Wednesday?
Yes.
Every third Wednesday. Gun talk with Mr. Dennis.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and your audience, they're dynamic.
I appreciate you. I hope to see you at the rally this Sunday.
Will do. If you want me to speak, I'll be happy to speak.
I would love for you to speak.
Okay. I sure will do it.
All right, y'all. That was Mr. Dennis. And I will see y'all Friday for Famous Friday with Danny. And you already know, 28th Ward, Jason Irvin, and his wife, the Chicago treasurer, Melissa Conyers Irvin. I made sure no one can call me on Friday or anything. I have everything ready for Famous Friday. A lot of people called me last week, thought that I got banned. No. Me and Danny had a couple of interviews we had to do, and they were just two back to back, and I couldn't do it. So, all right. So I'll see you on Friday, and I'll talk to you later, Mr. Dennis.
Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.